Word up, everyone. This is the Buckethead Disciple. Today I want to talk about the inspiration behind a lot of Buckethead's song and album titles. Given that Buckethead has produced over 300 albums, he has had to think of a name for each album and a name for each song on those albums. While I would like to say that each name has some kind of superb or secret meaning in Buckethead's personal life, most of his album and song names are actually completely random. Natter Net held an interview with Brain, an astounding drummer and probably one of Buckethead's best friends, who said that most of the album titles which he collaborated with Buckethead on were mostly random things that they ran into while goofing off after recording some song tracks.
And Kevin's Noodle House.
Yeah, that was another one that we did the same way as Pieces and all that. Kevin's Noodle House was a sign that we saw as we were driving back from the studio. And we're just like, all right, it's called Kevin's Faux Noodle House. I was like, sounds great.
Another one, Brainless Hammer Noodle.
That was another one because the ramen was off the side of a food truck.
If you're going to be as creative as Buckethead, I would think you might need to get over the whole make each song name super meaningful thing. So I don't blame Buckethead or Brain for assigning quasi-bogus names to their songs or albums. To be completely honest with you, even though most of his song names are arbitrary, that doesn't mean that the listener cannot find meaning in them, or that the title doesn't fit with the song. Buckethead has had tons of albums and songs that sound similar to their titles. Nevertheless, there are some titles that do have meaning. Spotting most of them is easy. They typically have the song name, then a short description in parenthesis about who or what the song is dedicated to. Big examples are The Lurker at the Threshold, dedicated to H.P. Lovecraft, who wrote the book Lurker at the Threshold. Hold Me Forever is dedicated to Buckethead's mom after her death. And The Android of Notre Dame, originally going to be called Dime, is a tribute to the deceased Pantera guitarist Dimebag Darrell. There are some songs and albums that you wouldn't know actually mean something more than a random name unless you did some thorough research on them. For example, the well-known Colma album is one that Buckethead made to give his mom something nice to listen to while she recovered from colon cancer. The In Search of the collection was originally supposed to be called In Search of the Disembodied Sound, but his original plan of making one album for each letter in that whole phrase would have been a bit much, so it turned into In Search of the. The song Botanist in the album Enter the Chicken is a reference to Dr. Botanist from the Giant Robot television show, one of Buckethead's favorites. The album Spinal Clock is a banjo-only album that was created during Buckethead's recuperation after a major back surgery he had in 2009. The Landing Beacon, a song dedicated to Michael Jackson after his death, is actually referring to a landing beacon mentioned in the Captain EO music video starring Michael Jackson. Speaking of Michael Jackson, the songs A1 from KFC Skin Piles, The Return of Captain EO from The Real Diamond in the Rough, Walk on the Moon from Shadows Between the Sky, and the whole Captain EO's Voyage album are all dedicated to or have some sort of reference to Michael Jackson. Don't even get me started on all the albums and songs dedicated to Michael Jordan. A pretty obvious one is the song called The Redeem Team, which is referring to the All-Star American 2008 Olympic basketball team that was assembled to redeem the United States from their embarrassing bronze medal earned in the 2004 Olympics. I could go on, but I think the general takeaway is that while some album and song titles are dedicated to something, mean something, or sound like something, the majority of Buckethead's work is named after completely arbitrary things. Did I miss any big references? Do you know of any other works that have a big reference to some event in Buckethead's personal life? Let me know in the comments section.